just me. Sorry my voice is trash. I'm using my shitty gamer headphones, so I don't have a good microphone. My apologies, but you know, I'm also poor, so this is how it's gonna be for a bit. But basically, I just wanted to make a point in saying that a lot of the times when I see reaction videos or channels, or even drama videos or channels, that a common denominator between them is that once you start attacking someone based on their personal appearance, their taste in clothes, fashion, hair, makeup, their weight even, you lose all credibility of judging their character or their wrongdoings. So I just want to put this here and say real quick that at any point I won't be discussing or talking about how I feel about either one of the people involved, their personal appearance or their art level or skill or anything like that, because at that point I'm just attacking people and I'm not giving out facts and research and time and energy. So yeah, let's get into it. If you are at all in tune with what happened about a week ago in the artist community on Instagram, then you'll know who this is, what I'm going to talk about, and what is going on. Before we get into the bulk of that, the meat of that conversation, I feel like it's my due diligence to do a little bit of background of this person, this artist, and how we got to where we are now in the community. This is Honey and Absinthe. She has, as I'm recording this, 26.6 thousand followers. Her Instagram is full of aesthetically pleasing TikTok videos that have become kind of popular with artists. She also has a podcast that she runs with a person who, I can't tell if it's husband, boyfriend, brother, or just a friend, but she runs a podcast where they talk about life, art, and her past experiences working at Disney. That's a story she likes to talk about a lot, but we'll get into that later. Her art style, to me at least, is more on the cartoony anime side, but I honestly was a big fan of her art before all this happened, and I've always liked her videos. And in general, to me, she always seemed to have an upbeat personality, so this all happening was quite a shocker for me and many other of her fans. And then other than that, she also has a YouTube channel where she talks about art. A lot of the podcast videos are uploaded to YouTube more than Instagram. And then she also has speed paint videos, Q&A videos, and other videos like that. Now, the video that is pinned on her channel and the video that also has received the most views on her channel is a video titled "Why I Quit My Job at Disney." And watching the video, I've seen a lot of these "Why I Quit Disney," "Why I Quit Pixar," "Why I Quit this or this animation studio." A lot of the videos start out either negative or positive, but they always end in a positive light. Someone will talk about their struggles of how things didn't work out the way they wanted to, and then things ended up getting better. In this case, her outlook is very negative, stays negative throughout the whole video and ends negative, and most of the comments kind of detour towards the side of judging her for not having a more positive outlook and telling her that the way she's wording her point of view and the way she's expressing her feelings, in general, she seems very ungrateful for the opportunity she did have, and she went into it with too many magical expectations of how her work was gonna go. Now, I'm going to link her video below because it's important that while I'm presenting this negative narrative that she presented, it's important that if you're watching this, that you also go check out her video and see for yourself and judge for yourself if you also believe that's the narrative that she's presenting. But I'm just sharing what I personally thought about the video and what a lot of other people personally thought. If you watch her video and listen closely, her main complaints are that she didn't feel important enough and didn't feel valued enough, and that she was upset that she was working a 9-to-5 desk job rather than being able to easily work her way up into a production job or a position that allowed her to storyboard for a show or have creative production design decision making of stuff that she worked on, projects that she had with other people. And all in all, it just seemed like she was mainly complaining. Now, when I was looking through the comments and taking screenshots of comments that I saw that had to do with other people who agreed with my view that the video was overall negative, I saw these two. One that said, "Yo, Ethan grilled her," and I was like, who the fuck is that? And then I saw one that said, "Who's here because of Ethan Becker?" And that kind of surprised me. Because if you don't know who Ethan Becker is also an artist. He, from what I know, he mainly operates on Instagram, and I didn't know that he had a YouTube channel. So sure enough, I look, I search, and sure enough, he has a YouTube channel where he does similar things as most other artists do, where he posts speed paints tutorials, how-tos, but he also has an interesting series of videos where he basically roasts other artists. Sometimes it's playful, sometimes it's serious, and I found one where he roasts Absinthe and Honey, which her real name is Janet, and he roasts the out of Janet. Now, Ethan kind of had the same point of view that I did when I watched her video, and a lot of other people in the comments that watched the video. He starts by saying that, "Janet, you have to remember who you're talking to. You have to remember that in your audience there are animation students, there are people who were once in your position, and the way you're talking to them isn't that great." He goes on to review her video and basically say that while he understands that her experience was disappointing and her experience wasn't as great as it should have been, the fact that she's leaving the message in her video that since she couldn't make it and things didn't go the way she wanted them to, that you might as well not try. And he makes a big point of reminding her that if there's other animation students out there that go across her video and they're left with a defeatist attitude, she's risking people's possible career paths. And if you go back and look at her comments, that's basically the case. Ethan then also goes on to discuss her podcast because she covered a podcast episode about the Disney job that didn't work out very well, and she kind of goes on, in Ethan's word and also highlighting my own opinions, she goes on in a way that kind of makes it seem like she thinks she's better than the job and that she didn't need the job. At least that's how myself and also Ethan interpreted it, is that she had a narrative set where, yeah, it was a great opportunity to work at Disney and work in the animation studio, but it wasn't living up to her expectation of what working there was going to be like, and she could walk away easily. And a lot of people in both Ethan's comments and the comments under her video kind of highlight the same thing, where they were all kind of berating her for so easily admitting that she didn't need the position that many other people in this industry would kill for. He also mentions that even if she did truly feel that way, if she really felt like she deserved more and she was above the position that she had and she was that comfortable with ditching it and leaving it, that at the very least he shouldn't have put this opinion on the internet where so easily people could have conflicted with her point of view, like him, like myself, and like some other people who have made videos and comments about it. He also goes on to make a really good point that I agreed with, where he's experienced a lot of these other videos before, a lot of the other why I left Disney, why I left this animation studio, why I left X animation studio, and he says that the narrative that she was presenting and the way she was talking about it, especially when she rehashes the situation on her podcast, is overall very negative. He goes on to say that most videos either discuss how people had a negative experience with a story or an experience they had in the art industry, and he draws a really funny diagram about it that I'll show you. But he goes on to say that even though the video starts negative for most of these people, saying that they were rejected by agencies or rejected by animation studios, in the end, they were able to end the video with a positive outlook. They were able to end the video on a high note. They were able to say, well, while this didn't work out for me, it can work out for you too, or I have a different opportunity that I'm working on, or I'm searching my own passion projects or whatnot. But he says that she leaves it on a very negative note. She starts out the video saying, this experience sucked, it wasn't what I wanted, it was more work than a more creative field than I was expecting. He and myself and other people feel that that's just how life is, and sometimes you have to work hard and work your way up. You're not just always going to jump into opportunities. And he goes on to say that her outlook ended very negative, and honestly, she left her video off with a note saying that you might as well not try because your opinion isn't valued and your opinion isn't mattered, and you don't matter in this field. It's up to creative overlords and producers and directors, and even if you work really hard or even if you try really hard as a creator, you suck, your opinion doesn't matter, and it's not going to work out for you. That's basically the narrative that she left off with, which kind of honestly rubbed a lot of people the wrong way. And Ethan does a good job highlighting that when you're talking to students, when you're talking to your audience, that's not the way to do it. Now, I am truly sorry that took almost nearly 15 minutes-ish to get through, but if I'm going to talk about this person and what happened and the nitty-gritty of their character and how this whole situation happened, I feel like I also owe it to you and to myself to do as much previous research as possible that led up to this moment, led up to what happened a week ago, and just provide context of how this person is and how their character is. So now we're going to get into the real stuff. Thanks if you watched to this point. I really appreciate it, and here we go. So I'd like to introduce you to Lord Grease, or Lord Grist, however you want to pronounce it. They have an Instagram with a following of about 600,000, a little bit more followers, and they do some pretty cute artworks, and they also have a store and some stickers that they sell, and also Patreon. They've also been one of my favorite artists for years and years, and I love them a lot. And you'll see a post on their Instagram that has caused a lot of controversy in the artist community in the past week, and I'm going to tell you why. So I'm going to be dissecting this video in its entirety, but I will leave a link for anyone who wants to watch it undisturbed and then skip ahead from my analysis and dissection of the video, so you don't have to listen to me do that. So the link will be down below if you want to check it out for yourself, because she still has not deleted it, and you can come back afterwards so you don't have to listen to me drone on about it.
This artist much bigger than me has been copying my work.
Okay, bitch, let's stop right there. You can define these roles in your own terms, but there's a big difference between copying, which is taking someone else's work and presenting it as your own, and taking inspiration from.
This is mine. This is hers. This is mine. This is hers. This is mine. This is hers. This is mine. And this is hers.
Pause, bitch. Again, what I said about copying someone's work, it's not just copying a concept. Unfortunately, and sometimes I have seen cases where someone invents a concept and the concept is taken and the person is not credited properly, like when it comes to trends or stuff that goes viral. That I can understand it being disappointed, but in my personal opinion, if you look back at all of these, and if you go to the video on Instagram and you look in the comments, many people are saying that it's not copying at all, and I'd have to agree. To me, copying is taking the exact same pose, the same character design, the same exact color palette, all of that, and claiming it as your own without taking inspiration. In my personal opinion, these comparisons that she's making are not enough for me to believe that she was 100% copied. And unfortunately for her to hear this, she didn't invent the concept of red demon girls with white hair, honey dripping, candy dripping ice cream, or 3/4 angles.
I don't mind when artists copy my work, especially if you don't intend to sell it. I find it kind of flattering.
Girl, get the fuck out of here. I could just be interpreting this in an incorrect way, or I'm not understanding what she meant versus what's coming out of her mouth. But her saying this completely contradicts the entire rant in the entire video that she made, where she's accusing Lorde of copying her work. It's just hard for me to grasp that she would go on a video and say that she has issues with her work being copied, but then will turn around and say, oh, it's all right. I find it flattering as long as you don't try to sell it. To me, at least, that doesn't make sense. Also, another part of me, the psychology part, makes me feel like she's only doing this to warrant some sort of sympathy, or she's doing it to show some sort of kindness, because maybe she thought that she can't just accuse people willy-nilly without evidence, and instead of trying to find actual evidence that she was being copied or that she had an actual case against this person, she said, oh, I'll just say something nice and say I don't mind that people copy my art as long as they don't try to make money off of it, which in the end all it did was contradict her and bite her in the ass.
But it's different when you are a 600K artist on Instagram and I'm just a 25K artist on Instagram.
Maybe I'm biased, and maybe it's because I only have 1,349 followers, but even to me, I feel like 1.3K is a high number, and I feel like any amount of followers is enough to build a community around, and maybe I'm just being a big whiny baby, but truly, hearing someone that has multiple amount of followers that I do complaining about a larger artist quote unquote copying her really rubs me the wrong way, because I know for a fact if I had 25,000 followers, the last thing I would be doing was to use the word only in the same sentence of me saying I have 25,000 followers.
We're both trying to make money here. Please don't do that.
So this is where that good old psychology degree is coming in, where the last line that she uses in this video is, we're both trying to make money here, which to me is kind of a telling sign that either one, she's having issues with sales. She saw that there was an artist that had a couple of pieces of art that were similar in concept to her and thought, I can get some business out of this if people believe me, and people will start to buy my stuff, trying to support the quote unquote original artist. Or two, she was lacking in sales and in general just wanted more attention, so she thought she would do a fake accusation of an artist that has more views and follows and support than her, and thought she would piggyback off of that in a negative light, which I can see why she would do that, but honestly that's not the way to go about things, and if anything, she lost me and multiple other people as a fan. In my research, other than finding the Ethan Becker video, even though that only discussed the Disney video, Why I Quit Disney incident a while back, and a little bit about her character and how she was speaking to her audience, I also found the Imaginary Kings channel, who I will link down below. She does a really good job of saying basically what I've been saying up to this point, is that you can't own a concept of a character. You can create a character, you can create designs, logos, whatnot, and unfortunately, even though you think your idea may be original, if you look farther back enough in history, you will find that someone else had done something similar to what you've created, and there will probably be people up into the future that will create things that are very similar. And that's just the way of the game, and it doesn't mean that people are stealing or copying off of you. Another thing that she mentions that I really appreciate, that I thought was a good point, is that you cannot steal a concept. The main thing that was my issue with Janet's video is that she makes a big stink that her characters and the things that she's creating are the most original things on planet Earth, and the fact that someone else could have something similar to her, they have to be copying her. Now, this whole situation happened about a week ago, but currently in the aftermath, as of Saturday, April 25th, she still is completely ignoring people who are asking her to respond, asking her to react to the situation, asking her to respond to people who have been loyal to her for years and feel disappointed about her behavior and how she acted. And I guess she got what she wanted, where a couple of her more recent posts have more views and more comments. Many of the comments are demanding an apology, and a lot of her once loyal fans have turned hostile and very aggressive, wanting her to respond. And at first, I would have also understood if she was trying to, forget what happened and move on. I don't support her method in just pretending like nothing ever happened and moving on. She does owe people who have been her fan for a long time and Lord Gris an apology. And I would believe that if that was her tactic, but that fucking video is still on her page. So that to me just honestly seems like the whole thing was for attention and nothing else. And then funnily enough, if you go to Lord Gris's page, and you check out the comments under this main post, which started this whole thing, it's full of positivity and people wishing her well and people telling her that they will support her always and know that what she's going through and the added stress that she had to deal with a week ago with all of this going on top of a pandemic that everyone is already dealing with, it's just a lot. And honestly, she took it in stride. And a hashtag titled Red Girl Revolution even started, where people are either creating new artwork of Red Girls or are going back into their archive and their old posts and old artwork of Red Girls and hashtagging it with Red Girl Revolution, just to show that this honestly isn't that original of a character, and all these people could have possibly copied each other with this design or this concept. Whew, boy, that took a while, didn't it? If you made it through the end of this nearly 30-minute video, I appreciate you very much, and I appreciate the fact that you stuck it out this long with me. You're a trooper. I really hope to make more videos like this when I see a situation like this that happens again, or if I am reminded by a situation in the past that happened again, or if you, who's watching this, has any suggestions for something like this, because I feel like YouTube is covered by people who talk about makeup drama and social influencer drama, and not a lot of people talk about art drama. I've seen a couple channels out there and I've seen a couple videos, but I really don't feel like people cover this enough, and I feel like it's a real problem. And I feel like, especially now when we have such bigger things in the world to worry about, people who act like this and do things like this, yeah, I'm looking at you if you're watching, Janet, a lot of people like this deserve to be called out and deserve to make sure that a lot of people are aware of their wrongdoings, because it's not fair to the people involved, and it's not fair to us who have to deal with it. But anyways, thank you so much for watching and listening to me drone on and listening to my BS thoughts and analysis about this situation. I really hope that Lord Gris is doing okay. I watched her Instagram story and I didn't screenshot it because I felt like that was disrespectful, but she admitted that this whole situation is very stressful for her. So I hope she's doing okay. And if she happens to watch this, oh my god, that would be crazy. But I hope she's doing okay. And I hope Janet really, 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 really is having a good time just being a person on the internet. Anyways, that's all I've got for you today. I truly hope that you and your family and your loved ones and the people you care about are being safe, washing your hands, taking necessary precautions to stay healthy. And I hope everyone who hears this or watches this genuinely has a great day. Thanks. Bye bye.